Hi everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. Today we have I guess it's a classic truck now, huh? 1997 Chevy K1500 4-wheel drive. Pretty clean looking truck. I mean, I'm sure it has the northeast rust, but looks to be in one piece. The owner just bought it recently and he wants to make it perfect. Basically just, use it around town. He said the previous owner replaced some parts. I don't know exactly why. He put headers on it, removed the cats, removed the downstream oxygen sensors, replaced the Spider, and the injector assembly. So some variables here, and the customer complaint is it has poor throttle response. You step on the throttle, it kind of falls on its face and then catches up and drives. So that's the customer complaint. Let's fire up the Verus and look at some data, look at the codes, see if we can figure this thing out. Alright, here we go. So first thing, scanned it for codes. We have low activity bank 1 sensor 2, that makes sense. Signal low bank 2 sensor 2, that makes sense. EGR flow, insufficient flow detected, okay. Not really that helpful, so let's go right into live data and just graph the oxygen sensors, fuel trims, the basic stuff, mass airflow, and start this thing up. It's bone cold right now, it's about 40 degrees. See how it runs once it warms up, what the fuel trims are, and we'll take it for a test drive. Alright, here we go. So all 4 oxygen sensors up here. And bank 1 sensor 1, bank 2 sensor 1, they're at 0, and these are somewhere at the bias voltage. Bank 1 sensor 2, bank 2 sensor 2. Not worried about that. Short-term, long-term trims. We got IAC, coolant temp, intake air, mass airflow. Let's fire this thing up. Okay, a little bit of a long crank time. That's fine. You see the long-term memories at 9. Oxygen sensors seem to be responding. So let's just start driving it, see what happens. Alright, so short-term bank 1, look, it's going to like 30%. And bank 1 sensor 1, what is it doing? It's oscillating. Lean until we get to like 18%, 20%. So it looks like it's running lean right now. Let's take it for a spin, see how it drives. Alright, I'm stepping on it. Seems to be okay, but 50% fuel trim, super lean condition, so that's what we're chasing. We don't need to test drive it too far. And the more I step on it, it's really struggling. Let's look at the mass airflow data. Let's go into OBD2 mode, because these data lists, you can look at oxygen sensors, but you can't look at the mass airflow, which is completely stupid. So let's go into OBD2, look at that data. Alright, even at idle, 25% on the long term, 11 on the short term. It's maxed out. Oxygen sensor is oscillating. Airflow is at 6.3 grams per second. It's a 5.7 engine, so not worried about the mass airflow. %, short term, 15% long term. It's learning, it's trying. But we're overall lean all the time. I mean, all the time. So we'll check fuel pressure. If fuel pressure checks out, mass airflow checks out, it's going to be a junk aftermarket Spider injector. We've seen this before on a 96 Chevy, I think C3500 same 5.7 engine, same symptoms. It was running so lean, it would, you know, barely get out of its own way. So we're almost done with this diagnosis. We just need to hook up a fuel pressure gauge and verify proper fuel pressure. Alright, at a hot idle in park, 5.6 grams per second. Look at that. Long term pegged at 25. Short term is about 5, so it's adding 30% at idle and like 50% under load. So let's measure the fuel pressure. So I just want to look up the spec real quick right here. And if we go to vehicle history, log back in the Chevy, go to the troubleshooter, look up the fuel pressure spec. Alright, so in the engine menu, troubleshooter, engine, general information, let's see where that'd be, test and procedures. Nope. Test the part. Nope. Maybe it's faster to go to all data. Alright, on all data, central fuel injection 60 to 66 psi, or sequential fuel injection 56 to 62. So right around 60 should be our pressure. But with an aftermarket Spider, who knows, the regulator might be set to something lower. So let's hook up a fuel pressure gauge to the Schrader port and see where we are. Alright, here we are. We got 20 psi. Fired up. Oh geez. Weak pump. We're at 28. Let's rev it up. Alright, so 28 psi, obviously that's a problem. Now the question is why? Is it a weak pump? Or is the fuel pressure regulator in the aftermarket injector assembly bad? How do we tell? We need to somehow close off or pinch off the return line and see if the pressure goes up. If it does not, then it's a weak pump. If it does, then it's a bad fuel pressure regulator. So we're almost done. Alright, we're going to energize the fuel pump relay while looking at our gauge. So bidirectional control right here, on, off. What I don't like is I don't hear any fuel going through the rail. On. I don't hear any fuel going through the rail at all. So that means the pressure of the pump is not overcoming the set point of the fuel pressure regulator. So in this case, weak pump. We could wire in an amp clamp to measure the current and measure the RPMs of this pump, because when the fuel tank was replaced, did they put the original pump back in? It sounds like it, but so right now, you know, I'm not ready to say, hey, we have to replace this Spider assembly again. In this case, the pump sounds like it's really weak. I got the relay out. Let's just energize it. Pins 30 to 87. Look at our amp clamp. Less than 3 amps. That is weak sauce. It's supposed to be closer to 10. So last thing we could do is put an amp clamp around it with the oscilloscope. Just measure the RPMs to compare it to a known good. Alright, we've got the Pico scope hooked up. Here's the amp clamp. So once I energize the fuel pump, the current will go through the amp clamp and we'll see on the scope the actual current pattern. So here we go. So right there, about 3 amps. That's all we need. Let's zoom in and look at the RPMs. Okay, let's zoom in on this waveform. So here are the humps and a few tricks on the Pico scope. If you want to bump up the scale and then bring it down, now we can see that a little better. Let's usually it's an 8 segment hump, so with the cursors just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right there, and 90 hertz or about 5400 RPM. That's a little slow. It should be around, oh, I don't know, 8,000 perhaps. So the pump is spinning, but the current is low, so I'm not worried about powers and grounds. It's very consistent. It couldn't, you know, if it was a poor ground, it wouldn't be this consistent. So I'm calling a bad pump, and we'll see if the owner wants to replace it himself, because I really don't want to take a rusty bed off. Maybe he'll cut a hole in the bed like the other guy did. But that's the end of the diagnosis. Needs a fuel pump, unfortunately. Looking at the wiring diagram for this fuel pump, here's the relay, here's the fuel pump, and the ground is at G104. Now check it out, the control side of the relay is also at G104, so if this ground was bad and the voltage was getting elevated, the relay would actually shut off. That is pretty neat. So the relay works fine, we know that, and you know, so G104 is not suspect. Again, it's going to be a weak pump. So the plot thickens because I see that this thing does have a brand new fuel pump installed already. So we don't want to make a call on a bad fuel pump when it's, you know, are there other variables? I don't know if my mirror is going to pick this up. So the connector, you see the brand new wires. There's a purple, a gray, and a white and black, or black and white wire right there. And the pump, you can see right up here. It's going to be hard to see through a mirror, but I see it's shiny and new up there. So what else can we do? Alright, so I got under the truck and put piercing probes on the power and the ground side, on, you know, after the connector, closer to the pump. Here's our voltmeter. If we fire up the truck and we see 12 volts, this thing needs a pump. So moment of truth, 14 volts on there. That's it, we're done. Needs a pump. So the last short experiment I want to do on this Chevy truck is to actually introduce more pressure into the high side, you know, the fuel rail, to see what the opening point of this regulator is on the Spider. It should be around 60 psi, but the pump is only putting out 30 psi, and we want to, you know, make sure that's good before saying you only need the pump. That's my goal here. So what I have hooked up is a whole bunch of adapters to adapt it to my little bicycle shock pump. And all we need to do, we don't need to prime the system, we just need to pump it up and see if we can get to 60 psi. So we're at 50, 60. You can actually hear the regulator opening up. We're at 55, or about 60 psi, so that's perfect. I know the system can hold 60 psi. Can you guys see that? If I keep pumping, you can hear the regulator. The glare is a little annoying. So you won't go above 60. That's perfect. That's all you need to know. So we just need a fuel pump. One last thing for bonus footage. This current ramp for the fuel pump. So this is from our suspected weak pump. We can see that we're less than 3 amps on the overall current, and the RPMs were, if we measure 8 humps, 5,500 RPM. Now I actually found a known good waveform in my own library. This is from my neighbor's 98 Chevy K1500, 5.7, same exact setup. Check out the current here. 9 about 9.5 amps. So the weak pump is drawing 1/3 of the current, putting out only half the pressure. And let's take a look at the RPMs here. Get our cursors. Now it's a little difficult to pick out 8 segments here, but I'll do my best. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4,800 RPM. That's interesting. So this pump is spinning a little slower, but it's building twice the pressure and consuming 3 times the current. So that's it. The needs a new pump, and the owner will update me once he gets that in if the truck runs perfect.